Okay, Christine Locker, you want to take it away?
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, everyone. I'm really excited to be here with y'all. I'm Christine Locker, for those of you that I don't know. I work with Mountain BizWorks. I'm the Strategic Partnerships Manager, and that's actually a new role for me. So I'll be working more to reach out to our partners across the region. But in the last year and a half, I've really been spending a lot of my time in the Western 7 counties. So for those of you that are in the Southwest region, you probably know me better even than the folks outside of that space. So I'm going to share a little bit about Mountain BizWorks and our services today. So ways that you as sort of community ambassadors can really help to plug your entrepreneurs into the resources that are available. That is going to be a huge help for growing that sort of economic development piece of the puzzle of all of this building outdoor communities work that you're spearheading here. So, okay, Brad.
So let me just, and thank you so much, Christine. For those of you that have joined, I know people are continuing to join. Thank you for being here. One of our goals, my name is Brad Spiegel, the Building Outdoor Communities Program Manager. And one of our goals is to be hosting these trainings, like either monthly or bi-monthly, these are all things that have kind of popped up in the last 6 months of topics that have been of interest to people across the region and for the communities in the program. So we want to make sure that these resources are available for you and that you all are knowledgeable and empowered to share this information with people and entrepreneurs in your community. So, and all, working towards building our outdoor economy across Western North Carolina, and thinking about what do thriving outdoor communities look like. So Amy is also on the call, the Made by Mountains Partnership Director. And for now, we'll just let Christine take it away and tell us how can we support the businesses and the communities that are looking to not just outdoors, but like with an emphasis on outdoor industry development. And what does Mountain BizWorks offer? That's the intention of this webinar.
Great. Thanks, Brad.
Yeah. Do you see the next slide?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Wonderful. So first, I want to just tell you a little bit about who Mountain BizWorks is. So I'll just read our vision here. Mountain BizWorks envisions a thriving Western North Carolina in which small business owners and aspiring entrepreneurs have access to the resources needed to make their dreams a reality. A region where collaboration, creativity, innovation, and investment generate opportunity and prosperity for all. And I love that little picture of bustling Main Street there. Okay, Brad. Great. So we serve the Western 26 counties of Western North Carolina and have been around for over 30 years. Mountain BizWorks is a CDFI, which you might hear CDFI when people throw that around quickly, but that stands for Community Development Financial Institution. So essentially, we're kind of like a nonprofit bank. A lot of folks who maybe have never been in business before don't realize that you can't actually get a business loan to start a new business from a bank. Businesses who've been around for a little while and can really show that they, are making money and generating revenue, those folks might be able to get access to a loan. But I would say the vast majority of our newer startups and Main Street operations don't really have a good source for capital besides us. And so we exist to sort of stand in the gap in the banking world to make sure that our Main Street folks and our small businesses can get access to capital. And so to date, we've made over $110 million in loans in Western North Carolina, which was almost 4,000 loans total, and have launched 1,900 local small businesses. You might recognize some of those pictures there. They might even be in your neighborhood. Great. So entrepreneurs can come to us for anywhere from $1,000 to $500,000. So they can get help from us in buying their commercial real estate if they're an established business and they're looking to buy the building that their business operates out of, and we can help them with that. And then we can also help with small loans, micro loans, things under $50,000 that can really just help them to get rolling. Maybe they need to buy a piece of equipment, or they need to, do a bulk order of supplies for getting started. Those are all things that we can do to help people get rolling. And we're going to talk a little bit more, capital is just one of the needs that folks have when they're starting businesses. And so we actually have quite a few wraparound services. And what I wanted to point out as we're going forward is sort of how this fits in to the bigger outdoor economic ecosystem. So this might be a cool graphic that y'all have seen before in your work with Amy and Brad and the Building Outdoor Communities initiative. And, in order to have a really thriving ecosystem around your outdoor infrastructure, you also need to be able to steer folks back downtown, right? So they need a place to be able to get a beer or, pick up lunch. Maybe they want to take a picnic out on the trail. You want folks to be able to come back after, a day on the trail and be able to, shop, look at a bookstore or pick up some art to remember their time there. And so these are all the ways that we're working in the sort of different pieces of a 3D puzzle. And so today we're really going to be diving deep onto how to help create or how to help your entrepreneurs access resources that are like ready and waiting for them. So in particular, we have 3 sectors that we really dive deeply on, and that also probably intersect the most with the work that y'all are doing. So those 3 sectors are outdoors, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that too. But we have the Waypoint Accelerator Program, which is the only outdoor focused early stage startup accelerator for folks specifically in outdoor industries. And so I'm going to let Amy talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But we also have a craft program called Craft Your Commerce. And it's a wonderful resource for craft artisans and artists. Those folks often think really differently than other folks who are really focused on spreadsheets and can handle the math side of business. And so we're really trying to meet those folks where they're at, because we recognize that our cultural resources are a huge asset that really partner well with our outdoor work. Like as folks are able to sort of access some of the cultural resources in Western North Carolina, I think that helps to tie in the love and the sort of heartstrings piece of the outdoors. And then food and bev, because we all know that you can't go for a long bike ride if you can't also refuel. So we want to make sure that those businesses are exciting and sustainable and that's kind of a tumultuous industry. So I want to really support those entrepreneurs who are doing good work, and also supporting our local agriculture and, the ecosystem on that side too. Okay, so I wanted to give this exciting example. I don't know if we have any McDowell folks in the house, but Micah Brewing Company is a client of ours at Mountain BizWorks, and they have a really cool origin story that I wanted to share. I think as y'all on this call, most of you are resource provider types. Like maybe you work for your county or your city, maybe you're working on Main Street, but you are trying to help your entrepreneurs figure out how to connect. And so this is a really cool story, because in Marion, they had a vision. The town folks and the community there had a vision for what they wanted their community to look like. And they knew that in order to sort of meet some of their aspirations, they really wanted to have a brewery located downtown. They wanted somebody local to be brewing beer there. There wasn't a brewery within like 20 or 25 miles. And so they put out an all call to their community. They actually made a post. I think it was the city manager made a post that was asking for any brewers who'd be interested. And then they offered a couple of resources too. And we could talk more about those if this particular template interests you. But, and there were some folks there who had, they were home brewers, and they had only lived in Marion for 3 months. They bought their house 3 months before that, but they were already excited about putting down roots and really investing in their community. And so they started this brewery, and now their beer can be found all over in Western North Carolina. So it's a great success story. And it's also a great story of how, some of the resource partners and the community itself actually made the call for entrepreneurship. So rather than the business owner having their own idea first, it was kind of the reverse model of what we usually see. So I thought that was a cool thing to share with y'all. Okay, Great. So in addition to capital, we talked a little bit about that. Folks can come to us for a business loan. They can also come for lots of support. So we love to support entrepreneurs in their journey, no matter where they're at. And we can do that through business coaching. We offer one-on-one business coaching. We have over 50 different tried and tested coaches that we're in relationship with. Some folks that can offer more generalized business services, like maybe marketing help or getting their financials in order. And then we also have folks who have really specific industry experience. So we have one partner who's opened several successful bike shops in the region, and he's working with some bike shop owners in Western North Carolina. And we've got we've got folks who have manufacturing experience and folks who have restaurant and bar experience, people who specifically work with ice cream shops and are willing to help new ice cream business owners. So all kinds of really kind of innovative and niche business support there. And then we also have our classroom learning. And so we offer all of our classes in a cohort model, which means that folks are learning not only from the facilitator, who is a proven entrepreneur, but also from the folks kind of to the left and right of them in class. And we offer those in person and virtually. So no matter where you're located, it makes it accessible for people across the region. And I'll share a little bit more about what kinds of classes we offer too. So this is a graphic you can find on our website. It's a little bit too much information for us to really go over right now, but what I wanted you to grasp and get a picture of were how many resources are available for your entrepreneurs. So these are all of our classes that are available coming this year. Foundations is our sort of business 101. It's a really deep dive for folks. It's a 6-week class and entrepreneurs meet 3 hours per class, plus they do homework in between. So there's a real amazing lineup of a sort of who's who in the entrepreneurial world of people who have taken foundations and really used that as a launching board for their success. And then we have classes that can kind of help meet folks no matter what level they're at in business, including scale up. Which is an opportunity for folks to really who have a growth opportunity in front of them, and they want to be able to rise up and meet that growth opportunity. So if you know of any of your outdoor businesses or folks like that who have that sort of potential, we really want to help those people to be able to get out there and take advantage of that big market share. Okay, we offer help in financial tools. And then if you look down towards the middle there, you'll see we have Craft Your Commerce. That's that arts and crafts program that I was talking about earlier. The Waypoint Accelerator is located. You can see down there at the bottom row. This year, for the first time ever, we're offering cohorts entirely in Spanish. So you can support your Spanish language entrepreneurs in creating their businesses. We've got help in marketing and branding and a Catalyst cohort, which I'll also touch on here in a bit. Great. So the Multicultural Catalyst program exists, it kind of has 3 different pieces. It exists to help entrepreneurs of color to really get going and find success. So through our Catalyst program, folks can find loans, and we actually have more flexible loan terms that we're able to offer for our BIPOC entrepreneurs, which is really exciting. We have a cohort, which folks can join, and then they'll go through a year-long program with intensive supports to figuring out their way, sort of charting their own metrics for success and then figuring out their way there. And then we also have grant programs that run occasionally. And so you can find out more if this interests you. If you think you have entrepreneurs who really fit the bill for this program, you can stay in touch via our newsletter, and we're going to drop that link at the end. And I did just want to give a small pitch. We have a new venture at Mountain BizWorks, sort of a subsidiary company called Market Advisors. And it's really exciting because we're seeing so many folks in Western North Carolina that have built really thriving, great businesses, but they're ready to retire, those entrepreneurs. And so they're ready to sort of have their time back to themselves and trying to figure out what their next steps are. And a lot of those businesses are vital to our economy. And we don't want to let them just, we don't want them to just close shop and walk away. We'd really love to see them create a transition plan, be able to sell their business, kind of, maintain some of that value for themselves, and then also to keep that business thriving. I know there's a couple places in the Southwest region that, like, you know, if that HVAC guy goes out of business, people are going to be real cold this winter. And so, and this is something that was just a real gap in the market. There's not any like mergers and acquisitions support for folks who are on the smaller side. So people that are, you know, under $500,000, you know, a year in business, or under $1 million even, there's not always that same kind of support as there are for bigger businesses. So we're really excited that this venture is up and going. Great. And so really the takeaway message here is that we can help, and we want to help. So we really want to connect with your entrepreneurs. We want to support in any way that we can in helping people to really connect to the ecosystem. And so there's a few ways you can do that. One is on our website. Our website is pretty big, but I think it's fairly well organized. And so you can find a lot of the resources there, all of the resources we talked about today, and then even other things that are happening, sometimes different things that are in the news or whatever. Amy Allison, who's the Made by Mountains director, she is a great point of contact. So if you want to help connect an entrepreneur who has a specific need to Mountain BizWorks, you can actually just direct them to Amy, and she can figure out sort of who internally to connect that person with. Maybe it's a lender, or maybe it's someone with our learning programs. If they need to talk to somebody about coaching, Amy can really help you to navigate that process. And then finally, to sign up for our newsletter, which is called Biz News. It comes out monthly in an email. It has all kinds of great resources, up-to-date things, class offerings, you know, that kind of stuff. It's a nice way to sort of keep your finger on the pulse of what's happening in the entrepreneurial resource space. And I think we're dropping that link in the chat. It looks like there's a question here, but Amy and or Brad, if you could drop the link to that in the chat too, I think that'll help, because folks won't be able to click it from the presentation. But services available for Surrey County? Yes, they are, Scott. And Brad, that's it for me. I think if you
Perfect.
want to minimize this, we can open up for questions. And if folks have questions for me, I'm happy.
Before we jump into questions,
Okay.
I'd love Amy to give a little plug about the Waypoint, which is specifically catered to the outdoor entrepreneurs.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is so exciting, and we're so lucky in Western North Carolina. We've talked a lot about, you know, we have the largest concentration of outdoor recreation industry brands east of the Rockies. So we have this great kind of built-in mentorship network here. So the you know, as Christine mentioned, a lot of the different learning programs at Mountain BizWorks are cohort based. So this is a cohort program that is specifically for outdoor recreation businesses. So the Matt Godfrey, who is the executive director of the Outdoor Gear Builders, is leading that program right now. It's a 12-week or 12-session intensive program. It's semi-virtually, so it starts with an in-person class and then a lot of virtual meetings, and then we try to do kind of a midpoint in person, and then end of session graduation in person as well. So there's that real opportunity for networking, but just really this opportunity to help businesses who, you know, they're not on the cocktail napkin. They're past that. They've got sales. They're in business, but maybe they need a little help with business plan, with marketing, with kind of some of those next steps to really advance their business. So through this kind of peer-based cohort learning, they're able to work together. And then Matt's really great at bringing in other entrepreneurs and leaders from the region who really focus in the outdoor recreation field to help these businesses grow. So it's such a great piece of it, is that these young entrepreneurs or young businesses are able to have access to someone that they can send a quick email to or a quick phone call when they have a problem or met with an obstacle. So really great program. I think we're in our fourth cohort now with that, and businesses like Blue Ridge Hiking Company, Tarpistry up in the high country, Asheville Adventure Company, WNC Outdoor Collective in Black Mountain. These are just examples of some of the companies who've gone through this program, and we're really excited to, you know, for the next cohort. We're about to finish up one next month, and then we'll start the upcoming cohort in the fall. So if you have businesses in your community, let us know. I know when we do a lot of this building outdoor communities work with you, It's this, this idea that we all know if we, build these trails and have these assets available, that's great for workforce, and that will really bring some of these outdoor businesses to your communities, to your main streets. And this is a program to help get them connected, and really help to make sure that they have sustainable businesses that can be on your main street for years to come. So that's kind of the quick and dirty of that, but can definitely answer some questions. I think we have time for that, right, Brad?
Oh yeah, we have plenty of time for questions. And just, for those of you that don't know, and I know we've said this in our presentations, but Mountain BizWorks is the fiscal agent for the Made by Mountains partnership. We are all employees of Mountain BizWorks, and all of our work takes place under kind of the outdoors sector. So that's the connection there. And, even if businesses are still in the cocktail napkin phase, there are so many classes, as Christine was describing, especially foundations. Like, where do you go from cocktail napkin to a marketing plan, to a business plan, to financial projections? Like, that is really a good place if you want to send entrepreneurs to, like, just baseline, how do you go from concept to actual business plan? So let's open it up for questions. And if you want to unmute yourself, feel free to say your name and where you represent, because it'd be nice to know just the regional perspective of where you're coming from. And you can either, if you want to raise your hand with the icon, or you could just unmute yourself and ask away.
I guess this means Christine did a great job of explaining all the resources available.
I'll take it.
So there's some questions in the chat too. Let's see. Oh, that was just, never mind.
Yeah, we've added the link. Thank you, Joanna. Added the link to the newsletter. Also a link to the Waypoint program. It looks like Mark has a question.
Yes, thank you. It's not so much a question, but I am joining your endeavor from NC Works, representing the Western North Carolina workforce. And if your business has 3 to 25 employees, we have an outstanding grant opportunity to help train your staff, improve the retention of employees. This is a 4-year grant that we received, and this is so much, affiliated with the small businesses that Mountain BizWorks facilitates. So in the chat, I'm going to drop the actual recording from the state of North Carolina breakout session. And in the description of the YouTube are timestamps. So if you need to jump to a certain section, you can do that. But glad to be supportive of Mountain BizWorks from the workforce perspective here. So thank you.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Mark. And I just want to also give a pitch for those of you who may not work as closely with entrepreneurs. Maybe you work more in city or county government, or, some other capacity, but it's a really wonderful and robust ecosystem of support that's available. And in general, if you can connect with any of those ecosystem partners, maybe it's your small business center director or your Main Street coordinator or director, if you can connect with the SBTDC, which are the business support services that are based out of the university system, whoever it makes sense for you to connect with. Usually those folks, we're all trying to work really well together to coordinate services to make sure that we can do warm handoffs so that folks get the best support and resources that, are really tailored to what it is they're doing. But, and I see some of you are on the call who are definitely those spark plug folks who really help to connect people. And so if you want to share too about like a way that, maybe it's worked really well, that you've seen an entrepreneur get support or somebody be able to get started, I think that also sometimes that helps get, those ideas sort of bubbling up. That's why I shared that Micah Town example, because I think it's a nice way to, if you're looking at your community and thinking, man, we don't have a bike shop, but we're getting ready to invest all this money in creating bike trail infrastructure. Sure would be cool if we had a bike shop, and so that's a great strategy for figuring out how you can start attracting that that talent and helping those folks to, helping to identify who the right folks might be to take that venture on. Oh, that's great. Thank you, John. I see your message there. Would love to reach out. I'm also happy. I can drop my my email address here in the chat too, if you're interested in connecting directly. Amy and Brad and I did chat about the best way. We wanted to be able to streamline things for folks so that you would feel like you could just have kind of one entry point and not have to master the whole like staff at Mountain BizWorks, but I'm happy to answer questions too. And then you have Amy's contact information, both from the PowerPoint and I'm sure from your work here together.
I see Elaine has a question. You want to say hi? Ask your question?
Hi, everybody. Yeah, my question is, so much of the outdoor industry, of course, not all of it in this area, is tourism related. Is Mountain BizWorks in any way involved with marketing the smaller towns that aren't the Asheville's and that don't have the national park in their backyard to help them to have additional opportunities to attract people?
Yeah, so every community does have some form of a TDA or Tourism Development Authority, and I think those are the folks you want to talk to the most about figuring out what their messaging is and how they're framing, like how you're selling your community to the outside world and attracting visitors there. Does that answer your question, Elaine?
Well, I'm thinking in a more comprehensive region-wide way that Mountain BizWorks could perhaps help to move forward, so that maybe several of the small communities that aren't getting the traffic that they might like to receive could work together. And it all fits into the building outdoor communities, but I just wondered, related to this, what we're talking about today and the entrepreneurial program, if there's anything. Thank you.
Yeah, I love that, Elaine. I think that's a great thought. I think that it would fall more through the Made by Mountain, Made by Mountains work, in our partnership with Mountain BizWorks. But I'd love to brainstorm with you what that could look like and how we can support. Joanne is so great through our marketing arm with Made by Mountains of letting folks know what's going on in communities, and we want to continue that and further that and just remind folks the only way we can do that is if they send that information our way and we can get it out there. But it could be fun to think about a kind of a cohort based opportunity for discussion around the table with some of these smaller communities that you're talking about that would like to just share ideas and thoughts and ways that we can support one another. So I'm gonna write that down and reach back out to you as let's get that going.
And on kind of adding to that, I do think just this cohort program that most of you on this call are in from the community side is really based off of Mountain BizWorks' success with entrepreneurs in cohort learning programs. So we're trying to take this model from the community development side so that you can be really having an opportunity to be in a space with other community leaders to really talk about some of these key issues in the outdoor ecosystem model that Christine, the graphic that she showed. And you should, if you were at the BOC launch event last September, that graphic is the kind of key graphic of the Building Outdoor Communities assessment tool, which is it's the 7-month program that you will be in when you start that. If you're, no matter what cohort you're in, you're all going to be participating in the 7-month assessment tool. And one of the months is specifically focused on brand and marketing. So that could be an absolute perfect time, Elaine, to be talking about that topic, strategizing with your neighboring counties, communities, thinking about what would be, like what does a regional brand look like, but also how can you elevate individual brands in the larger ecosystem? So that's already been coming up in the acceleration cohort talks. And I think it's definitely going to keep, we're going to keep kind of refining that conversation and getting more ideas this year.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Let's see, we have Donnie.
Hey guys, so I guess going along with that, and maybe I kind of missed just a little bit of an aspect of it. The company that I own is called Perrycraft Incorporated, and basically we're aluminum rack manufacturer, luggage racks, those kind of things, all made in the United States. All our aluminum comes out of a couple of different states, but made here in Sparta. And we're not a gear manufacturer, that type of thing, but we are considered outdoors. So how do we, we're a small business, and with the economy and all that kind of thing, we've been struggling a little bit, but would obviously benefit from some type of marketing or help along that way to get our name out and a little bit stronger. So what would I, as an individual business owner, need to do to head in that direction or get some help?
Yeah, Donnie, did you say you make aluminum racks?
Yeah, we make like luggage racks and racks for the tops of cars, trucks, SUVs, Jeeps, that sort of thing.
Well,
So
when we're
built
going outdoors with all of our gear, we need that rack to get there. So I would say, while you might fall into other sectors of industry as well, like that's in line with outdoor recreation industry as well. So so you're in the right place.
Basically our mantra is we give you the foundation to build your lifestyle on. So we don't make kayak holders and bike holders and stuff like that. But for cars and trucks and SUVs and Jeeps and stuff like that don't have anything on there, that's the racks that Perrycraft's been in existence since 1982. It's never gotten past like a larger threshold like Thule or Yakima or anything like that, but would like it to if we could.
Cool. We'd like to have that in our backyard as well. So reach out to me, send me an email and let's set up a time to chat. I'd love to think through that with you.
Okay. And what is your email in here? Is it on here somewhere?
Well, it's I'll drop it in the chat again as well.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Anyone else?
These are great questions. And I think that was I appreciate that you asked that question, Donnie, because I think that's the kind of question that a lot of our entrepreneurs have. It's a little bit more broad. It's not necessarily so, dialed in. It's more like, hey, I do this, and I'm pretty sure that there's more things I could be doing to plug in, but I'm not exactly sure what those things are. And that is definitely a way that we want to help folks to really get plugged in. And often what we do is we'll have these conversations where we just will throw out like, hey, here's 5 things that are either happening in your sector or maybe in your community, and we can help people to really be that connective tissue that they're looking for. And so I'm excited to get connected with you, Donnie. It sounds like Amy will reach out and the two of you can kind of do that process. And then she'll let me know if you need anything from there. But just for everyone else who's wondering, like if you have an entrepreneur who kind of is sounding like that, like, hey, I do this thing, it's pretty cool, but I'm not sure exactly where I fit in the system, we can help them to plug in. And Ryan, do you have a question?
Yeah, maybe you came across this in the presentation. Hi, I'm in Mars Hill, Madison County, North Carolina, and I'm just wondering how much. I noticed that one of those big splashes that you had like classes for entrepreneurs, and has there any kind of synergies with educational or colleges? I'm at a small private college, but we have an entrepreneurship business program here, and could we send students that way, or would there be any sort of? Has there been anything like that done with other colleges?
Yeah, so there's a few places of intersection. It's not necessarily just real clean cut, but so, building outdoor communities, they're partnering with App State to do some of the deep research and some of the meaningful data mining that's coming out of this project. We also partner with our small business centers across the West, the West, our whole footprint. And those folks are based in their community college, in the community college system. Mm-hmm. And then we also partner with the SBTDC, which stands for Small Business Technology and Development Centers. And those folks are located in the university system. So there's a lot of resources, and they're definitely interconnecting, with the school system. And then also, we could we could, if there's a lot of interest, with your entrepreneurship program, we could talk about, co-hosting a class together, or, there's lots of ways I think that we could meaningfully partner, and that we do meaningfully partner already with lots of different educational entities.
Okay.
But so if you want to, I posted my email address there. You're welcome to follow up with me if that's a question, or you can always follow up with Amy too.
Thanks very much. I might refer somebody else just to follow up with you if that's all right. I just wanted to pass on the right info.
Okay, great.
Appreciate it.
That's lovely. Some great questions here, and I feel like
it's interesting. It's like all the different, this is covering the whole graphic, right? Like the different angles, the educational angle, the entrepreneur angle, the community angle. So it's nice to, we want to be able to learn from each other, the different players in the community, which is really, that's kind of the point of bringing the working group together, because we want to be thinking outside the box and bringing these unique voices to a group to think about what is best for the outdoor economy of your region and your county. Joanna, did you want to give a little update on Outdoor Economy Conference that's happening this fall in September?
Sure, I absolutely can. Yeah, while we're here, I'll take the opportunity. We just released our early bird tickets, so they are currently on sale. Those who joined us this past spring, the 2022 conference took place in April. The 2023 conference has moved to its original space in the fall, so it will be September 18th through the 21st at the Cherokee Convention Center. Last year we had an attendance of over 600. We sold out, so we definitely want to get everyone thinking ahead of time. If you have any interest in attending the conference, we speak to all facets of really building the outdoor economy and building outdoor communities, and we really look forward to not only diving into those topics through our program tracks again this year, but also creating those spaces for facilitated networking, creating those connection points, and creating that space for folks to connect with each other, find those common ground, and really continue to build that community. So again, the date's September 18th through 21st. Mark your calendars. The website is outdooreconomy.org. I will put that in the chat. And again, the early bird tier 1 is on sale right now. So it's a really great, it's a 3-day conference. We cater all of the food and everything. We have some great networking events that we do. So your kind of best deal for attending is right now. So we want folks to go ahead and jump on getting those tickets.
Thanks, Joanna. And I think one thing that we've been talking about a lot in the last month or so has been this kind of the intersection of the outdoor infrastructure and the space adjacent to it, and the business opportunity that you see naturally occurring across all these places in the United States. Businesses are organically arising around the clusters of businesses arising adjacent to outdoor infrastructure. This is a really amazing place. I learned so much last year, and it was so inspired by what is happening in the outdoor industry. So even if you know people that are like, how can we take advantage of this momentum? If you want them to be inspired, I'd say send them to the Outdoor Economy Conference. So we have until 3, so we can be done, or if anyone wants to stay on the call, we can talk about particular issues, or you could feel free to hop off unless there's any other questions.
Wonderful. Thank you all. Thanks so much for having me. And a big shout out to Thomas, Sally, who has the best Zoom buddies around. I saw a cat and a very cute child, and now the dog. So you get the gold star for the day, Thomas. And Mark, thanks so much for sharing those resources too. That's really helpful. I'm happy to stick around here, Brad, if anybody wants to ask questions.
Yeah, well, let's hang out for a couple minutes.
Okay.
I know people are still popping up, and I'm gonna, say this out loud to this group and anyone else who's listening. I love Donnie's question about, his business and the opportunity to help business owners and entrepreneurs who don't see themselves in the outdoor recreation industry, maybe think about that as an opportunity for growth and kind of leaping into another sector. As he was saying that, I can think of several businesses that started as one type of business, but has saw the opportunity within the outdoor industry to grow and have kind of skirted around and gone that direction. So
Yeah, I
excited
love
to
that.
help people think about that.
I love that.
Also the opportunity for collaborative company products too. Immediately when he said that, I thought of North State Overland and how inadvertently through participating in Waypoint, they were contacted by an awnings company who saw their product and was like, our awnings would look great on your setups. And so now they, a collaboration is born.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great. Freddie, I didn't realize you were on the line there. I would have given you a shout out for when I was talking about Micah Town, but don't know if you're still listening, but glad to raise Marion up the flagpole there.
Well, just to follow up with what you were saying, Amy, that's kind of that thing with one of the racks we, make. Obviously my pictures on my site, show with kayaks and stuff like that on there. But rooftop tents, like Tepui or any of those we work with because one of our racks is 180-pound load rating, that sort of thing. So like I say, I know we're in the outdoor industry, but we're also in that kind of a limbo area. Do we go to the SEMA show or do we go to outdoor retailer or, that sort of thing? And so it's, and a lot of that stuff is fairly expensive. So it's been one of those things we're just trying to fight and find our space, but embrace that, that we fit Thule or Yakima or Malone or Rhino Rack or any of those other kind of things. But if the car doesn't have a base rack system, then a lot of those other companies don't have an opportunity to work on there. So we kind of give that base foundation for you to like I say, build your lifestyle on. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you said you're in Sparta, right, Donnie?
Right.
Okay. All right.